Hello everyone and welcome to another video. RollerCoaster Tycoon 2 is a game that attempts to simulate what it is like to run a real theme park, and it does so reasonably well. But there are still plenty of moments where it doesn't quite work like real life would. In this video I will point out 10 situations where the logic of the game is just a bit weird. Most of these are there for gameplay reasons or because of computer limitations of 20 years ago, so this is not a criticism of the game. In fact, I think that they are part of the charm of RollerCoaster Tycoon, and all I want to do in this video is have a bit of fun and laugh at the silliness of my favorite game. Before we start, I want to try something that I haven't done before but I have seen others do. If this video gets 6,000 likes in the first week, I will make a part 2 with 10 more weird logic moments. I have no idea how reachable that number is, but let's just see what happens. Oh, and one more thing, if you know of any more weird logic moments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Number 1. Roller coasters are much cheaper than they are in real life. The Goliath in Walibi Holland costs roughly 11.5 million euros to build, but in the game it's yours for less than 25,000. You can also get a merry-go-round for 460 euros, an Enterprise for 800 euros and a log flume for a few thousand euros. Running the rides is also very cheap at a few hundred euros per year at max. This is cheap enough that reasonably well-off people should be able to pull a Phineas and Ferb and build a roller coaster in their backyard. Number 2. Almost all cars and trains seem to be filled with high explosives. A crash on a roller coaster can be devastating, but I don't think that in real life a roller coaster train has ever exploded into tiny little pieces. Even weirder, the dinghies on the dinghy slide will do the same. What kind of gas do they use to inflate them? Pure hydrogen? Number 3. No one in the game is able to swim. Whenever you build paths over some water, you have to be really careful to make sure that no guests fall into the water, as they will drown within just a few seconds. The RollerCoaster Tycoon world has many islands and beaches, so why on earth has no one ever figured out that it might be a good idea to be able to stay alive for more than 5 seconds when you fall into the water? Number 4. Guests may not be able to swim, but somehow they are able to survive any amount of G-forces. Build a roller coaster with 10 positive Gs. In real life this would at least seriously harm your guests, but in RollerCoaster Tycoon they will walk away without so much as a scratch. 50 lateral Gs? Not only would the ride likely disintegrate, you would also almost certainly be dead. RCT guests, on the other hand, manage to walk away while only feeling a bit nauseous. Maybe they have super dense and heavy bones that allow them to survive heavy G-forces but also make it impossible to swim. Number 5. Peeps are able to phase through each other without any issues. The game is pretty good at handling collisions when it comes to building stuff, but these rules of collision apparently don't apply to guests and staff. Imagine how useful this would be in real life. No longer will people stand in your way, you will just go wherever you please. I still wouldn't really be comfortable sharing a toilet with 1,000 other people though. Number 6. Guests will stay in your park for several years. Have you ever been to a theme park and didn't want to leave, but you had to because the park was closing? Well, in this game the park never closes and some guests take full advantage of that opportunity. They will happily stay in your park for multiple years or even several decades. Even if you look at the real time that they've been in your park, it can get pretty crazy with guests staying in your park for several days. Number 7. Rides can float if there's no space for supports. Rides will generate supports if they can, but when they can't because you built a hyperdense park, they are absolutely fine without any supports at all. I wonder how this works. Are they hanging from cables from helicopters really high up? Are the coasters lighter than air? Or is the RCT universe far ahead technologically and have they already invented anti-gravity? I guess we'll never know. Number 8. Guests always obey no entry signs. This one doesn't seem too weird on the surface, as most people in real life do obey no entry signs almost all the time. However, I doubt that most of you would stay stuck on the same few square meters of path just because there's a no entry sign. If you trap guests in your park rating will go down quite drastically. This means that people in the wider world do know about the trapped guests because they're rating your park lower, but for some reason they're not doing anything about it. Number 9. Guests get lost in just about any maze, even an entirely open field. Seriously, the exit is only 10 meters away and right in front of them. How do they not see it? Sometimes they even jump and try to see over the non-existent hedges next to them. Take the person with the worst sense of direction that you know, multiply that by 10 and they're still better than the guests in this game. It's quite a miracle that they didn't get lost on their way to the park in the first place. Number 10. Guests will buy on-ride photos even if the train doesn't pass the photo section. I'm pretty sure that we have all added a photo section at a very boring part of the ride and laughed about how lame those photos would be. It is indeed quite odd that guests still buy the photos for this ride, but it can get much weirder. If you put a photo section behind a launched ride like the shuttle loop, the train does not pass through it, yet guests will still buy the photos. What are these photos of? Just empty track? Doesn't seem very exciting to me, but maybe these people are some crazy track lovers or something, and who am I to judge? And that were all 10 weird logic moments in RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. As you can see, this game can get pretty weird at times, but that's all part of the charm. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something from it. If you did, consider giving this video a like. You can also subscribe or follow me on Twitch. Thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next video.